my name is Paula Muñoz. I'm a mechanical engineer and I entered to VTEX as part of the TCS program 2024. Today, we're going to talk about event-driven architecture. This is going to be the agenda for today's class, where we'll talk about what is an event-driven architecture, its components, where it is used, its advantages, disadvantages, and an e-commerce example. We're going to begin by answering what is an event-driven architecture. When we have a system composed by many different microservices, as we do have in our platform, it is necessary to define the way they're going to communicate to each other. In this case, will be through events. How this works. Our service sends an event right after the event has happened and does not care about what happens after, which means that the service who raised the event isn't reliant to the service receiving it. An event is everything that causes a change of state and usually carries information about what action has been performed and by whom, but does not have any type of instruction to be followed. Another event's characteristic is that they are immutable and can be changed or deleted. By contrast, they are a permanent record of what's happening on the application. Now, we already know that the service is just sending information or publishing events, but how the other services respond to those events. This will be using an event broker that will push in the events to the services subscribed to it according to the type of events they are subscribed to receive. This is known as a publisher-subscribed model. An event-driven architecture is composed by three main components. First, the producer, responsible for publishing the events. Second, the broker, which manages which subscriber get which events. Third, the consumer or service, subscribed to the broker to receive some specific events. Where is it used? It is used when processes can run separately or asynchronously, as happens in some backend processes, for example, sending an information email. Also, as it does not have instruction but only information, it is widely used for data processing and auditing. Some advantages of the event-driven architecture are: the components of the system, the publisher, and the consumer are completely coupled from each other, and if one service goes offline, the second one will not be affected. For example, if the consumer service is lost for a lapse and comes back, it will receive the events right where it left off. The second advantage is its scalability, where in a scenario where there are too many events being raised, it is possible to just add more subscribers. Additionally, we're going to have less breaking changes, which means that a change in one part of the system will not potentially cause other components to fail. And finally, it is easy to audit. Now, for the disadvantages, maybe one of the biggest ones that have to be considered is the delay and data consistency. When an event-driven architecture is used, there will always be a delay between the event is published and the subscribed service is receiving it. This issue can be avoided by adding more subscribers to the event to reduce the amount of aggregation delay. We also have difficulty in debugging and troubleshooting and a greater complexity for observability. For example, in an e-commerce operation where I have a test new product that the organization is interested in gathering data on, this type of architecture is not advisable. Finally, at the e-commerce level, it is possible to see how the event-driven architecture works every time the user clicks on one of the action buttons of the store. For example, when the user makes a purchase at the checkout, the information of his purchase travels through events to the service subscribed to receive this information. Another example is when the store uses the event-driven architecture for stock management, which must be updated after any purchase is made. For this specific scenario, there may be a disadvantage in the architecture where it is possible that the user make a purchase at the same time, or where the user places the order and the display of this order in the store is not immediate due to the delay in receiving events. Thank you.